Welcome to this special edition of Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonzo. Today I will be your guide for this special edition as we take a look at the Cossacks, the free people of the steppes. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. Moving right along, mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. The Cossacks are the best light troops among all that exist. If I had them in my army, I would go through all the world with them. Napoleon Bonaparte. Who were these warriors that Napoleon himself so highly praised? Today we will answer these questions as we get a better understanding of these freedom-loving people. Who were the Cossacks and what did they stand for? By most accounts, the name Cossack translates as adventurer or free man. They are predominantly East Slavic Orthodox Christian people who became known as members of a democratic, self-governing, semi-military communities originating on the steppes in Eastern Europe, particularly in the Dnieper River basin. These peoples played an important role in the historical and cultural development in both Ukraine and Russia. It is unclear when people other than the indigenous tribes began to settle in the lower reaches of major rivers such as the Don and the Dnieper. These southern Ukraine Slavic settlements started to appear around the 11th century. Some historians suggest that the Cossack people were of mixed ethnic origin, descending from Russians, Ukrainians, Belarusian, Turks, and Tatars. However, an opposing school of thought argues that Cossacks are descendants of the native Kumans of Ukraine, who lived and inhabited these lands long before the Mongol invasion. The Zaporozhian Cossacks lived on the Pontic-Caspian steppe below the Dnieper Rapids. This region was known as the Wild Fields. As the Zaporozhian Cossacks grew in number, they played an important role in European geopolitics. They participated in a series of conflicts and alliances with the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Russia, and the Ottoman Empire. The Zaporozhian Cossacks gained a reputation for their raids against the Ottoman Empire and its vassals. Prior to the formation of the Zaporozhian Sich, meaning the free lands, Cossacks had usually been organized as a force by the Ruthenian boyars or princes of nobility, especially those of Lithuania. It is also believed that many merchants, peasants, and runaways from the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Muscovy, and Moldavia also sought refuge in the free lands, or the Zaporozhian Sich. The Zaporozhian Cossacks, who built a fortress on the island of Hortitsa, on the banks of the lower Dnieper, adopted a lifestyle that combined the ancient Cossack order and habits with those of the Knights Hospitaller. What was the foundation of the Cossack state? The Ukrainian Cossacks were led by a hetman who was elected by the host members of a Rada, which can be translated as an assembly or parliament. The hetman's symbol of power was a ceremonial mace called a bulava, and during times of war, he was the supreme commander in the field. Other important officials such as judges, scribes, lesser officials, and clergy were all elected by the Rada. The Rada had all legislative power. During the absence of written laws, the senior officials, known as starshina, governed by Cossack traditions, which were the common unwritten laws. What about family life? Cossacks often observed traditional kinship systems, living in large clans of extended family. They were typically led by an elder patriarch, usually a grandfather. While Cossack men were away at war, the women took over the role of family leaders. Women were also called upon to physically defend their villages and towns should an enemy attack. The famed novelist Leo Tolstoy was astounded by the egalitarianism within the Cossack family structure. The Cossacks also had a high regard for education, which was a tradition of the Cossacks of Ukraine. In 1654, when Deacon Paul Alepsius traveled through Ukraine with his father, who was the Patriarch of Antioch, he praised the Ukrainian Cossacks when he wrote in his report to the church. All over the land of the Rus, among the Cossacks, we have noticed a remarkable feature which made us marvel. All of them, with the exception of only a few among them, Even the majority of their wives and daughters can read, know the order of the church services as well as church melodies. Besides that, their priests take care and educate the orphans, not allowing them to wander in the streets, ignorant and unattended. Is it any wonder that such a people wrote the first constitution? In 1710, the constitution of Hetman Philipp Orlik regulated the rights of his vassals and his subordinates. The constitution of Philipp Orlik was confirmed by the Swedish king Charles XII, who also named Philipp Orlik as the protector of Ukraine. Orlik, who had studied at the Jesuit college in Vilnius, also wrote numerous proclamations and essays about Ukraine. It is not surprising that in the literature of Europe, the Ukrainian Cossacks are heralded for their love of freedom and egalitarianism. In today's Ukraine, it is common to hear the salute to Ukrainian sovereignty, Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine. The appropriate reply is Heroyam Slava, glory to the heroes. This brings us to the end of the special edition of The Cossacks, the Free People of the Steppes. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Traveler's Tales. Just a reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. For your convenience, we have also posted our email address and Instagram information. We enjoy hearing from our subscribers and encourage you to send us your questions and comments. If you haven't subscribed to Traveler's Tales, please do. This really is the best way to help our channel grow. Traveler's Tales will return with part 2 of The Cossacks, the Free People of the Steppes. Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and fact, Slava Ukraini.